Starting things off in episode 4, the engine needs to be removed so that Matt is able to clean up and modify a few parts. This is a very simple task, unless you hook the engine crane up incorrectly.
Oh, there she goes. What's that?
That was not me.
The chain is hooked up correctly and the engine is safely lifted out. Matt can then comfortably clean and work on the engine whilst it's on an engine stand. The engine bay is also going to get a freshen up by a panel beater Mark. Matt is modifying the standard LS1 steam ports in the tops of the cylinder heads and is using them for coolant feeds for his turbos. They are drilled, tapped and a -6 AN fitting screwed in. Matt has bent up some coolant hard lines to run underneath the driver's side manifold and around the back of the engine block. He then gets started on the fill point for the cooling system. The BMW radiator we are using does not have a fill point on it from standard, so Matt is incorporating it into the top of the water pump.
So Matt's got the engine just about ready to go back into the car. So we've just been waiting on the clutch. So George from Mantic's come up and bought us a flywheel to suit the LS engine and a throw-up bearing. We're actually going to reuse the clutch that was already in Matt's car, which was a Mantic twin plate already. They are sort of a modular design, so we were able to just replace the drive plates, which are obviously got a different spline to the Nissan box that was in it. We're going with a clutch disc that doesn't have any springs on it. It's only got a wave plate because this is going to be more of a competition type car. These still drive okay though. They're a lot better than what you would imagine a twin plate to be like. You can still use it as a street car if you've got way too much power. But I'll let George tell you all about that because he's the clutch guy. Tell me about it, George.
Alrighty, so what we've got here, we've got one of our Mantic 9000 series twins. As we were saying, Matt was running one with his VQ setup, but things got a little tired there, so in the engine side of things. So as I was saying, we are going to a rigid setup in this, which is similar to what we've used in other projects with MCM before. These things are essentially bulletproof. This is what I'd put in drift cars and in big power output, competition type stuff. But at the same time, as Al was saying, you can drive it on the street and it'll drive so civil that most people wouldn't even realise that it's an unsprung centre. So that's the setup we're going to go with today. We're using one of our heavy LS flywheels. We do lighten, but we figure it's better to run with a heavy in this application because we've got so much boost behind it and all the rest. It's going to give it plenty of extra load and torque, and away we go. So that's where we're at, and essentially we're at the assembly stage, and let's get the flywheel on the crank and go from there.
The flywheel and clutch cover are torqued to spec and the concentric slave cylinder replaced. The gearbox is then bolted to the engine and it's ready to be thrown back into the freshly painted engine bay. But before it goes back in, Matt has to refit the brake master cylinder and also sort out a mounting method for the clutch master cylinder. With the help of George, the engine is successfully refitted without scratching the freshly painted engine bay. So the engine mounts are done up, gearbox crossmember tightened, and the engine is back in for good.
You'll probably notice that the engine bay looks a bit better than it did last time. Panel beater Mark came around before Christmas, or in between Christmas and New Year's, and worked his magic on it, give it a fresh coat of ashtray grey. Makes the outside of the car look bad now, but we can also always fix that later. We've slotted the motor in. Matt's been squirreling away, painting things and cleaning them up and making little things like the filler for the coolant and that sort of thing, because there's no filler on the radiator. Modify the thermostat housing for a better angle. Bolted everything back in. So we're just about ready to sort of start the final fit up of all the turbo manifolds and that sort of thing. All the manifolds are complete. Matt's wrapped them in some heat-proof gear, so it's going to get pretty hot and tight in there with all the dump pipes and manifolds and everything. The turbos, he's given them a bit of a paint job to hide them. We got these turbos off eBay for like $215 or something ridiculous like that. They look pretty good actually. So we'll see how they go. Wastegates and everything, all good. Just got to make some wastegate outlets once the dump pipes are all done. The intake pipe, we've actually sectioned the intake pipe off because it was a bit too hard to deal with in one piece right up to the intercooler. So just chopped it off and rolled it, and it's just going to have another joiner in it. Got the GFB blow-off valve there, mounts for the temperature sensor, air temperature. All the intake tubes, it's all pretty short and sweet. That's the two charge pipes going down to the intercooler. Dump pipes. Probably going to do slip joints on the dump pipes just to make it a bit easy so there's no flanges because they're a bit tight to get in and out. So we'll go down to Olcox and use his swaging machine that'll make a perfect slip joint for that, and then continue on the exhaust from there. And we'll chuck it all together. Banana?
Bananas. Where'd you get them from?
My tree.
You get banana tree, I go.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you like bananas?
No.
I like bananas. You got heaps over there, bro.
They're for sale.
Cheap?
$50 each.
Really? Everything is coming together as planned, and next episode, the manifolds, turbos, and all engine bay parts are refitted. That's here on the Skid Factory.